So Razer's dropped out the new Viper V3 Pro, and today I'm going to give my impressions on it straight out of the box and tell you exactly what I think of it and whether you should be picking up this mouse. So I'm Bearded Bob, been gaming for 35 years plus into games like Tarkov and Valorant. And if you like to understand the best peripherals for you, how they're built, all the quirks, how to mod them, then this is the channel for you. I'll give you my first impressions on the Viper here. Hey, cheers for the sub. Like I said, I've already done the V3 Hyperspeed. If you want to take a look at that, this definitely feels lighter. Straight off the bat, I'd say it feels a little smooth, like almost a little bit worryingly too smooth. I thought it would have a little bit more texture. It's almost like there's no texture, which I think is going to be an issue if you've got sweaty hands. I don't know, I don't like the coating. It's going to be very, very bad for people with sweaty fingers. It's okay with, like, if you're not sweaty, but the thumb for me I can tell is already quite slippy. I feel a little bit more texture. You can just put grip tape on it, right? But the side buttons feel okay. It's pretty good for pre-travel. They feel like the micro switch, but not the real bad switches like something like the M800 had originally. These feel quite tasty, a bit more click. I don't know if they changed the switches, but probably the Gen 3, but they do feel pretty good in this for Razer switches. I don't particularly like the Razer ones. They're not quite as snappy as some of them, but they feel a little bit better than normal in this. So we're getting a shit ton of pre-travel. Especially at the end, that you almost push it down. So pre-travel still there on this one. Scroll wheel feels quite smooth on this as well. Skate's interesting. Like I say, they're finally taking away their split on these. Razer have started to listen. I don't know why they ever split it, but I don't like the way they flatten out the front. It has the same problem as the Superlight when it's too flat. But they have rounded the skates, I think. It's very hard to tell. It's very small rounding though. But they just feel like if you really squash it, you can maybe get a little bit of flex out of this, but it's pretty, like, people always say you can get the click there if you really wanted to. But you'd have to, I mean, I wouldn't even bother. You'd have to push too much force. Sometimes when I'm modding, people say they can push the side buttons, but you can do if you like, you know, over compress that. You're not going to push that much weight into it. If you do, you get an RSI. So, and that's pretty well built. No rattles. Rattleless. Does it weigh? 55 grams. Okay, it's pretty tasty. 5 grams under Superlight. Well, Superlight V1 here, but they look pretty similar size. We'll measure it in a second, check the sensor position, but Superlight's actually slightly smaller, just on the rear. USB-C as well, nice. Feels quite big, to be fair, this Viper V3. I don't know why they ever changed the shape of the Viper there, compared to like the Mini Beast here. It feels tiny, the Mini Beast. See, to me the Superlight fits slightly better in my hand, but that's my personal, because I tend to kink them like that angle, whereas the Superlight feels a bit straight with my hand, if you see what I mean. Mentions, that's from the front button. Got the button pressed. And that's with it pressed. It's quite big for its weight, this mouse. Razer's done a good job in taking some of the weight out of it. Given its size. Slightly wider at the rear. And you got big skates on this as well. It's quite high as well. Like, I don't remember anyone ever complaining about the Viper shape either. The people really liked it and they've just changed it, so. Just give people an idea of what things are like. Pretty sure it's gonna be centered, but you never know. Is it more front than it is back? It looks fractionally front. It's pretty centre, it's a little bit fractionally forward, which we thought. Probably centre, to be fair, if you take that measurement from the back. Alright. Well, overall, I think it's not bad. Razer's probably their better mouse over the last year, I would say. Or since the, maybe the Viper Signature, or the Viper V2 Pro. It's better than the Hyperspeed. The only thing I don't like is the coating. That'd be my only concern. And the shape's not quite for me, but the buttons in quite a good position for an 18:9 hand. I can definitely reach the buttons. I like the little dips, and the comfort grooves are nice. A little bit of pre-travel in the mains, but these Gen 3, I presume. I haven't checked the specs, but the Gen 3 or whatever Opto-Mex Razer's put in here feel a bit nicer, where the setup's nicer. And there's a bit of flex if you really squash it, but I wouldn't worry about that. The buttons, one of the things It's worth checking as well is where the buttons activate. So you can activate them right at the top here, which is good. All the way down. Anyway, your fingers set. I'm surprised anyone's playing like that, but you could actually play like that. They're a little bit stiffer if you really wanted.